I'm Kay Young, I'm married to Alan, who's just given his testimony. Like Alan, I'm from the East End of London. I come from Custom House, Canning Town, like Alan did, but that's where we differ. Now, I've never ever been an atheist. I've always known that there was a God or an higher being or whatever you want to call it. And from the age of about 11, I dabbled in spiritualism. I've done fortune telling, tarot cards, tea leaves, seances, Ouija boards, the lot. And my aunts, two of my mum's sisters, was married to American GIs, and every time they come over from America to visit the family, they'd come straight round to me to have their fortunes told. Well, I got married when I was 18, absolute and utter disaster. I was married for 4.5 years and I had Anne. Well, we ended up getting divorced. His name was Alan as well, but apart from that, they're totally and utterly different, apart from the name. And I'd never ever felt loved, and I used to suffer from depression and inferiority complex and chip on my shoulder. I just go through life, going through the motions. And well, one day I met this woman named Anne Freeman. I started going to a toddler group with my Anne, and she was there with her daughter. And I got friendly with her, and I was with her for a few months, and then she suddenly said that she was a Christian. So I said, oh, don't talk to me about all that lark. So, but a little while after, I got curious because I could see that she had something I didn't. And she had lots of problems in her life. She was divorced as well, and she had a son and a daughter, and she had a lot of problems with them. Her son Nick was starting to take drugs, and her other daughter had a few mental problems, Catherine. But she was always together with it, and I was all in bits with my life. And I thought, yeah, must be something in it because of how she is. So I started talking to her about God, and she gave me a gospel to read, and I thought, oh, Jesus sounds really nice. Oh, I don't know if I like that Jesus, but I didn't think no more of it. And then one day, just out of the blue, I went round there for a cup of tea, and she said, Kay, do you know why Jesus went to the cross? I said, yeah. I said, there was blokes was jealous of him, and they wanted to get rid of him. So they put him they killed him. She said, no, that's not why he went to the cross. I said, well, what's he go to the cross for? Well, even now I get choked, and when I think of when she told me the real reason why Jesus went to the cross, because of that love, and he paid for our sins, she explained all that, and he died on the cross because he loved me. And she said, if you'd been the only person in the world that had sinned, he would have still have done that just for you. Well, I was bowled over because I'd never felt loved. And I thought, I can't turn away from love like that. How can anyone turn away from love like that? So I went home and I was asking her different questions, and I was battling in myself because I used to have a lot of fun made of me when I was growing up. And I thought, well, if I become one of them Christians, they're all going to take the mickey out of me. No, I can't. And I was in bed one Tuesday night, and I'm tossing and turning all night. There was a right battle going on. I really knew it. I knew it was all true. But I thought, I can't, they're going to all take the mickey out of me. Well, I finally went off to sleep, and I woke up on the Wednesday morning and I felt wonderful. And I thought, I don't care if they take the mickey out of me, let them. Because they'd only take the mickey out of me for something else anyway. So I ran round to Annie's house and I said, Annie, I want to give my life to the Lord. I believe, I know it's all true. And then she said, do you know, Kay, your Uncle Benny's a Christian? I said, no, not Ben. She said, yeah, he is. She said, he goes to church. I said, no, I can't believe it. Well, he only lived round the corner to Annie, so I ran round the corner. I'm all out of breath, knocked on the door, and he answered the door. I said, oh, Ben, all out of breath, is it true? He said, what's that, mate? I said, that you've become a Christian? He said, yeah. I said, oh, Sava, come in. He went, so we had a cup of tea and we talked about it all. But I didn't believe he was a Christian till I crept in church the following Sunday and see him sitting there. Then I knew. Then I started, because I played the recorder, I joined the music group. There was just an old piano and the vicar's wife Catherine on the guitar and me on the recorder. And we used to 4 o'clock service, I used to play. And I started to get pretty good at it. Because when I was a little girl, I've always known there was a God. I was no good at nothing. I couldn't do a thing. I tried dancing, failure. I got kicked out of the maths group. I got kicked out of the sewing group in school. And I said, oh, God, please let me be good at something. I was only about 8. And then I started getting good at music. I was well in my 20s, but I thought, well, I like this music and I seemed to be getting good at it. So I carried on with that. And then I got me divorce from my first husband. That had all come through. And I got a flat in Custom House near the church. There was me and my daughter living there. And my toilet got blocked up. So Nigel the vicar said, I'm going to send Alan, our caretaker, round, Kay, to look at your toilet. I said, oh, all right, Nigel. Well, he done the toilet, and then I started going to the house group, the Bible study, and Alan was leading it. And he kept going out, he kept winking. Well, I thought he had a dodgy eye. And I thought, oh, that man's right nice looking, isn't it a shame he's got a bad eye, it spoils him. I didn't know he was winking at me. Then he asked me out. So I went out with him and we ended up getting engaged and got married, and we started doing house groups together. And we had, you know, the Lord really blessed it. A lot of people got saved through the house groups. And we done one where, we'd have one where people that wouldn't go into a church for whatever reason, because especially the men, we'd have like an house one, because by that time we was working in Shaftesbury and had a nice big lounge. So we invited the residents to come in, and some of them did, and quite a few people came that wouldn't go into a church. A few of them got saved, didn't they? One become a vicar. We thought he'd fell back by the wayside, Martin. Though, isn't it a shame about Martin don't come no more? Oh, he's gone back to his old ways. But what it was, he'd become a vicar, and he was out in Sierra Leone. Well, one day we see him, someone tapped us on the shoulder and looked, and it was Martin, and he had a dog collar on. So we was really pleased because what had happened to Martin. But with all the spiritualism like that I was doing in the past, that just stopped just like that. Nobody ever told me it was wrong. I just knew it was the spirit in me. I think God's spirit told me that that was wrong, and I didn't do it. I knew that these things existed very strongly. I've always been a very spiritual person. And I was searching the wrong way. And I think that's why the Lord came to me when the time was right, because he knew that I was genuinely searching, because I knew that there was something or someone. Though I went about it completely the wrong way. But and I still suffer from lack of I do have confidence crisis from time to time, and I've had a lot, like with Mum and Dad. We moved down here when Alan retired, and I can see now the Lord put us here to look after me Mum and Dad, who were both, Mum had mental problems, Dad was ill, and it was really, really horrendous. But I can promise everyone that the saying in the scripture's true, the Lord will never give you more than you can bear, because every time it got too much and I screamed out to the Lord, I can't do it no more, it stopped. I've got respite from it, and things have happened in the last couple of months with probate and doing all the finances and sorting all that out, and I've really nearly had a nervous breakdown. Said, Lord, I can't do it, and it stopped. It's got sorted. So the Lord he does really do that. When you've had too much to bear, he does carry it. But so many things have happened, and I know. So people like say, oh, but you know, what's the point? What's becoming a Christian? And I'll say, well, I've been on both sides of the fence. When the terrible, terrible mess I made of my life before I was a Christian, and now, I mean, I still slip up, but I get forgiven, I pray about it, and we work together, me and the Lord, we work together with it. And the old suffering thing as well, what people say about, what I think, and I really believe this is true with that suffering, is that if every time someone in the world was going to do something that was going to cause trouble, and God came in and sorted it out, he'd become our slave. Because he's sovereign and we're his creatures. We've got to take responsibility. We've got decisions to make, and a decision you make can be the wrong one or the right one. If every time you do wrong, God comes and sorts it out quick and there's no consequences, we're just going to get more and more evil, more and more sinful, and the world will get more and more wicked. That's why I think that things like that happen without God just intervening. Sometimes he does, but if he did do that every time you think about it, it'd just become our slave, and we'd get more and more evil because we wouldn't have to think about the consequences of what we're doing. Because I did have a lot of trouble with suffering before I became a Christian, and that really come to me in a really strong way. And when I thought about it, I thought, yeah, that's right. It is right, but I do believe after saying that God do protect us from more than what we ever realise, well, that we probably won't ever know about. But being on both sides of the fence, I mean, I do get depressed now and again still, but I'm never ever in despair now like I used to be. And I'm not horrible and nasty and selfish like I used to be. I'm completely different, really. And that's only what God's done. I mean, and to be honest, if I hadn't become a Christian when I did, I dread to think what would have become of me. And, you know, I've had a lot of people in the family, like Mum and Dad. They've come to the Lord on their deathbed. But I'd say to anyone, don't leave it that late. Because there's so many more benefits that you can get through coming to the Lord. It's an adventure. It's not boring being a Christian, and it's not a set of rules if you can do this, can't do that no more, which is what a lot of people think. You still got your free will, but it's such an exciting life when you look round and you see what the Lord's doing in your life and other people that you're talking to and you're dealing with. It's marvellous. It's not boring at all. It's more exciting than anything. But you do need church because you all love the Lord and you're all a family together and you help each other out and you all understand the same thing. And the Lord means so much to all of us, especially when you're like us, most of the family are not Christians. It's even more important that you are in the church family, if you're especially from a non-Christian family, because you get supported and you get prayed for when you need it, and you help each other out, and as well as hearing the word and the lovely worship that we've got at our church, got a marvellous worship group which really lifts you up, and it's like the word in song, and it's another form of prayer worship. So yeah, it is very important to get into a church when you become a Christian. Very. I'd say, well, really, saying you're not religious and it's not for me, whether you believe it or not, it's true. God is there, God does love you, and God does want a relationship with you. And by not coming to him, it's you that's the loser. That's what I'd say to him. I'd say, you know, you want to really look into it and ask God to really show himself to you, because that's what you're created for, and you'll never ever be completely happy or fulfilled unless you do have a relationship with him. That's what I would say. All I can say as well, with my hand on my heart, if only I'd come to Christ years and years before I did, my life would have been a lot easier and happier. I just wished I'd done it years before.